All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is Genshin Impact version 4.1, phase 2, banner analysis. 5 characters to cover, one from each nation, as it turns out. So let's start with the first one, and that is Venti. Venti is of course, the animal archon from Mondstadt. This is overall a very easy character to build. Animal hypostasis, very easy to beat. Hail of Boreas comes from a weekly boss that you'll get really early in the game. You could basically triple crown Venti before you even set foot in Leeway. And one of the other good things about him is he's got one of the best crowd control talents in the game. So I do see people using Venti in floor 12 of the Spiral Abyss. So if you build him, you'll have a 5-star character that will be relevant for quite a while to come, probably for the rest of the game. Now, as far as his recommended weapons and recommended artifacts, Elegy to the End is an energy recharge bow. You can use that. You can use any energy recharge or elemental mastery bow you want. The recommended artifacts, Viridescent Venerer with a triple EM. You basically want to give him as much EM as you possibly can. So if you don't get Elegy of the End, there's a lot of weapons that will work just fine, particularly if you do not need the energy recharge. And it's not like he needs a whole lot of energy recharge since his energy cost is 60. Still worth having some, though. So, anyway, I would just put that to you that Elegy of the End is not an absolute necessity for him, and neither are any of the constellations. The constellations are fine, but my suspicion is you'll find other 5-star characters that are more worthy of the constellations than Venti is. And we'll go ahead and move on to Chongyun. Now, Chongyun is a Cryo Claymore user, and his burst costs even less than Venti's. So you don't really need to spend a lot on YAR with him. And for the most part, you're going to build kind of a regular crit DPS build on him. One talent that I'd want to point out is his elemental skill. His elemental skill creates an AoE where everyone's weapons that are sword, claymore, polearm will be infused with cryo. So that makes him kind of a bad match for a lot of the physical damage characters that we've got, especially Eula that we just had not too long ago. A lot of people tend to use him in the national team, which the other 3 for that would be Shangling, Bennett, and Xingqiu. So if you're looking at the recommended artifacts, I'm suggesting a 2-piece Blizzard and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige. I don't think that the 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, I don't think he makes particularly good use of that. And if you're using him in the national team, then Bennett's going to have the Noblesse, so he would not gain anything from also having a 4-piece Noblesse. The Cryo Regisline, again, one of the easiest bosses in the game. The Valen, you also get him fairly early in the game, so you'll be able to build him up pretty quickly. And if you're learning how to use the national team, there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube. I won't bother you with that. You can look them up. They'll explain it a lot better than I can. But overall, I think that the only downside to building Chongyun for the national team is that if you pull Raiden Shogun later, you might replace him with her down the road, or you might just use Raiden on a different team. But it's there's a little bit of a risk compared to Venti. There's more of a risk with Chongyun of him being relevant early, but then forgotten later if you build it. But the same thing cannot be said for Thoma. Thoma is probably the best character in the game if you want to build a version team. Part of that is that you can stack a lot of elemental mastery on him. Plus, he has a shield which can protect him from the reflected the damage that version sometimes comes with. So, pyrohypostasis is not one of the easier bosses in the game, and you will have to unlock Inazuma in order to get there. So if you are not in Chapter 2 yet, know that Thoma is going to cap at level 40 until you get there. But not even that, not just that, the fluorescent fungus under additional materials, that is in Surumi Island. I'm gonna just switch back to my map so I can show you where it is. I know it's kind of hard to remember what all of these islands are. Surumi Island is this one way down here, and until you start doing the world quests, this can be a really tough island to navigate. So, if you want to build Thoma, you're not only going to need to get pretty deep into Chapter 2 so you can get the pyrohypostasis, which is this guy right over there, but you also need to get far enough in the world quests to be able to get to this mess down here. So keep that in mind if you're earlier in the game. But it is a good he is a good character to get. As far as constellations, I feel like the only reason I haven't built him is because I'm waiting to get his C6. I have him at C5, which is probably still fine, but the C6 is really what, um, more so than most characters, just kind of makes him that much better. But I have kind of an idea of how to build him. The Hellfire Butterfly that he needs for his talents, you'll be able to get that after you've unlocked the boss that uh, you unlock at the end of Chapter 2. Um, it, for his weapon, just go with any elemental mastery weapon you can get. And for his recommended artifacts, I had a different set written down, but that was a while ago. Um, right now, most non-animo dendro characters that need a high EM tend to favor Flower of Paradise Lost. I don't suspect that will be any different for Thoma, so I recommend going to go get that one. And then just give him as much EM as you possibly can, and give him HP as well for his shield. And Dori. What to say about Dori? Dori is actually is a character that I've never particularly been interested in building. She does have the potential to be a really good ER battery. She has a lot of potential to be a really good healer, and she has no potential outside of either of those two roles, from what I can tell. Her burst is a little bit high at 80, so you'll want to make sure that you're getting a lot of ER on her and kind of balancing that with HP. The Electro Registine is one of the bosses in Sumeru. I don't believe you need to unlock anything to get there. So you should be. So if you need to visit Sumeru early to level her up, why? But if you wanted to, I think you can. Um, the Blood Jade branch is comes from a weekly boss that you unlock by completing Zhongli's character story quest. So you could potentially have Blood Jade branches before you set foot in Inazuma, much less Sumeru. So you can build her earlier than Sumeru if you need to. I would recommend going for an energy recharge weapon, but an HP weapon, there are a couple that could fit the bill. She is a Claymore user, so there aren't that many, but there are a few. You could go that way if you just wanted to max out her healing capabilities. And for her artifacts, I'm going to recommend the Ocean Hued Clam. If she is going, if she can do it, she can probably do enough healing to really get a good snap from that Ocean Hued Clam. That overall, I've been recommending Ocean Hued Clam over Maiden Beloved, particularly since Ocean Hued Clam is now available in the strong boxes. So, anyway, if you absolutely need an electro healer and for some reason you don't have Kuki Shinobu, Dori should work. Anyway, those are all the reruns. So now we have Wriothesley. Wriothesley is a cryo catalyst user. I'm going to go ahead and start the level. But while I do that, I do have at least some of the uh, things for him. I don't have any recommended weapons or artifacts yet because it's a little bit too early for that. Um, Worth noting, the experimental field generator is a brand new boss. It's in the newer area of the map. Uh, just beware that it does not drop the jade he's going to need. So you're going to need to get jade from somewhere else in order to level him up. Sub detection units are in that newer area of Fontaine as well. Clockwork Mecha you can get just about everywhere. And as far as his talents, you'll have to unlock the boss at the end of Nahida's second story quest, which you'll only be able to do once you have completed Sumeru's chapter 3. So, anyway, just be aware that if you get him and you're not in Fontaine, you can level him up to a point, but you'll probably be stuck at 6 across with talents until you've completed Sumeru. Okay, so now that we've gone through all that, let's actually talk about Wriothesley. So, normal attack. Starts off normal. Starts off as just kind of your usual cryo catalyst. Actually, he's the very first cryo catalyst, but just your everyday catalyst, except for that his normal attack combo count will not reset for a short time after using Ice Fang Rush, which is a skill, or sprinting. So there's a way to potentially get more than just 5 rapid attacks. His charged attack consumes a fixed amount of stamina to leap and unleash a vaulting fist. We'll probably see that in a bit. Plunging attack doesn't look like anything important. So we move on to skill. Fortunately, the skill is not as long-winded as some of the ones that we've had before, but basically his skill, he sprints forward a short distance and enters chilling penalty state. And then chilling penalty state increases his interruption to resistance. And when his HP is above 50%, it'll enhance the repelling fists of his normal attack and increase its damage. When such attack hits, it consumes a fixed amount of his HP, and that HP can be lost that once every zero point 0.1 seconds. How much HP do I hear you say? Well, 4.5% of his maximum HP. The duration of his skill is 10 seconds. So he can lose, it seems like he could lose a lot. But keep in mind that that section of chilling penalty only applies when his HP is above 50%. So once his HP drops to 50%, then he won't be losing any more HP, and the elemental skill won't do as much. So that's all that means. So then his elemental burst activates his boxing gloves, strikes out with an icy straight what? Then uses icicle impact to cause multiple instances of AoE crowd damage in a frontal area. I just feel like there's a word missing there, but it's okay. It's a translated. After icicle impact ends, a surging blade will descend upon the opponent's position, dealing Wisa aligned crowd damage. So we finally have another Wisa. So overall, it's the energy cost is 60, which is kind of in the middle. Probably won't have to go overboard on energy recharge, but this is basically going. I feel like it's basically just going to be a lot of managing the normal and charged attacks, and maybe using the skill to make it more powerful or what. So let's take a quick look at the passives. When Wriothesley's HP is less than 60%, you'll obtain a gracious rebuke. The next charged attack of his normal attack will be enhanced to become Vaulting Fist. Will not consume stamina, will deal 50% increased damage, and after hitting will restore HP for Wriothesley equal to 30% of his maximum HP. So you can use that to bring his HP back up so you can keep using the elemental skill. And you can use that once every 5 seconds. I'm not going to bore you to tears with the constellations. Just know that Constellation 1 actually does make this even better than it already is. So if you pull him and you think that he's working pretty well for you, you might want to go for C1. And this one, when Wriothesley's current HP increases or decreases, which you would expect is going to happen a lot, if he's in the chilling penalty state conferred by Ice Fang Rush. Chilling penalty will gain 1 stack of Prosecution Edict, maximum 5 stacks. Each stack will increase his attack by 6%. So if he has all 5 stacks, that means his attack will be increased by 30. That could be pretty good. It could be pretty good. And his last one, when he crafts weapon ascension materials, is a 10% chance to receive double the product. That's a pretty good skill to have. Just be aware that if you already have someone who already has that, you can't stack them. All right, well that takes care of all the talents. So like I said, just be aware that if you find them very useful, you might want to give a good thought to C1. So his catalyst is cash flow supervision, which gives him a crit rate bonus. This is the level 80 crit rate bonus, so it gets potentially better than that, but it's not like a super huge crit. But it increases his attack by a certain amount when his current HP increases or decreases. Normal attack damage will be increased by a certain amount. The charged attack damage will be increased by a certain amount for 4 seconds with a maximum of 3 stacks. This can be triggered every 0.3 seconds, which means it can pretty much get triggered almost at will. When the wielder has 3 stacks, the attack speed will also be increased. All those amounts are based on that being C0, which I imagine it will be for most people, because I don't know how many of us actually go about um, level refining the weapons. I'm sure some of us do. Uh, it's a pretty good weapon, I think. Um, as far as his artifacts, I'm trying to think of what I'm guessing he's going to. Let's see. Yep, that's the one I was thinking of. This is one of the new artifacts. Normal and charged attack damage goes up by 15% for the 2-piece. When current HP increases or decreases, the crit rate will be increased by 12% for 5 seconds, maximum 5 stacks. That's pretty much the one for it. I would definitely pick that over Blizzard Strode. Okay, all right, we're all done with that. I'm not gonna go through everyone else's. Let's just see how things go. So we've got Pyro and Hydro Slime. Does quite a bit of damage. Probably should start thinking about healing. Sure, that's why they gave us Bennett. Get a little chilly. Okay, well, that didn't take long.
Not bad.
Okay. So the I feel like I'm not quite don't have quite a handle on him just yet. But definitely pays to use his elemental skill along with his normal attack. Even more so than in my mind, I'm trying to compare him to Yanfei. Let's try again. That's definitely not a C6 Bennett, of course. Oh, well, that wasn't quite what I had in mind. Okay, this isn't too bad. It's a little bit harder to deal with. Harder than Nuvulet. I think I would definitely need to practice this quite a bit in order to get anything done. Okay. All right, we can leave it there. So overall, like I said, it's not. It may take a little bit more getting used to. I think I'd need to. I feel like I would need um, to learn kind of a little bit more of a is of a pattern, I guess. Kind of the same way I had to do with Yanfei, built and told her. Um, but it would be a pattern that's kind of unique to him. So, okay. So overall, if I would say if you're a newer player and you don't have Kazuha, then Venti is probably a good character to go for right now. Um, Wriothesley will have another banner later on, so If you don't think you're ready for him, don't have to worry that this might be your only chance to get him. So, as far as the weapon banner, I kind of have the same feeling that I had from the previous one, which I feel like both of these are reasonably versatile. So if you have cash flow supervision but you don't have Wriothesley, I think you'll find a spot for it. And if you have LG for the end and you don't have Venti, you'll definitely find user for that. So I would say if I was going for one or the other, I might be tempted to. For me personally, I might try to go for LG for the end, but my account really doesn't need either one unless I had Wriothesley and I wanted cash flow super. But yeah, I would say if you're an early game player and you don't have Venti, go for Venti. If you're all caught up, or if you're even close to Fontaine and you want to go for Wriothesley, then go for Wriothesley. And I wouldn't worry too much about the 4-star characters. I The weapon banner, I would say if you could use either one of them at the 5-star, then you could go for that. The 4-star weapons, I can see all 5 of them. I see the Favonius sword, which is pretty much the best one of the 5. But yeah, not much else to say there. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like and consider subscribing to this channel and or following me on YouTube. Also, please leave a comment below on anything that I managed to get right by accident or more likely got wrong. And I will see you in the next video.